it is clear that the mood is changing in this country. You could certainly feel a more positive Aussie vibe last weekend, the Australia Day weekend. More Aussie flags, more national pride, less of the endless wrist-slashing guilt and shame. Good. Could it be that mainstream Australians, especially younger, even working-class Australians, are perhaps finally starting to realise and appreciate just how great this country is and how recklessly the left and Labor are destroying all the good stuff? Let's hope so. But it won't happen by itself. I'm delighted to see in the Northern Territory they are bringing back the singing of the national anthem in schools. Well done. This needs to be replicated across the rest of the country. The national anthem should be mandatory in all schools. Speaking of anthems, at the same time, of course, we had the usual smug, virtue-signalling celebrities from the pop world getting upset because their own Australian anthems were being sung by people they politically disapprove of, the far right. Last year, according to news.com, it was Jimmy Barnes, Icehouse and The Living End who complained when their songs like Great Southern Land, Working Class Man and so on were being played at so-called far-right rallies like March for Australia. Last week, the Hoodoo Gurus and Colin Hay from Men at Work got in on the act, outraged because One Nation supporters were playing their songs. Indeed, the Hoodoo Gurus, the Hoodoo what, you may well ask? The Hoodoo Gurus got their knickers in a twist when their song What's My Scene was played to welcome Pauline Hanson onto the stage at a One Nation rally on Australia Day. In case you don't remember that particular ditty of theirs, here's a snippet. OK, that'll do, thanks. By the way, quite a bit of Mexican cultural appropriation going on in that film clip, Mr. Hoodoo. Not sure that's all that PC, you know. But anyway, the Hoodoos got on their high horses this week, indignantly proclaiming, quote, "We were disgusted to hear that one of our songs was played by a bunch of wannabe fascists yesterday." That'd be One Nation. "Like most Australians, we have always been appalled by Pauline Hanson and the toxic nonsense she spouts. This is our message to her and her followers. Don't play our music, don't listen to our band, do not pass go. We want nothing to do with you. In fact, we wouldn't pee on you if you were on fire." Wow. Hoodoo Gurus, that's the way to treat your fans. Wish them a grisly death. Ah, yes, the ever-so-tolerant left. But Pauline's fans responded online with wit as well as verve. "Dear Hoodoo Gurus, all your songs are now deleted from my playlist." "Oh, hang on, there weren't any there anyway," wrote one Nation wag. "The Hoodoo Gurus," wrote another. "I'd forgotten they even existed," said someone else. As for Colin Hay from Men at Work, he was equally outraged. "Let me say that I most strenuously disapprove of any unauthorised, unlicensed use of Down Under for any March for Australia events," Hay wrote. The irony is unbelievable. Colin Hay was a 10-pound pom from Scotland, much like Jimmy Barnes and AC/DC's Angus Young, who all made their fortune in the late 70s and early 80s by co-opting Aussie working-class male culture to their own ends. And good on them. But spare me the political posturing and moral ownership of their oeuvre. Men at Work even ripped off Kookaburra Sits in the Old Gum Tree for the hook in their song about chundering working-class Aussie blokes and Vegemite sandwiches. "I said, do you speak of my language?" He just smiled and gave me a Vegemite sandwich. These pampered pop stars made a fortune out of Aussie working-class pride and prejudices, frequently misogynistic and sexist, as well as uber-patriotic. They rode the 70s and 80s wave of working-class ochre larrikin culture and never had to do a genuine hard day's manual labour themselves in their lives, thanks to the fortunes they earned from the sweat and toil of hard-working Aussie male and female fans, many of whom as high as 40% in some areas, now support One Nation and other groups opposed to current high levels of immigration. Jimmy Barnes, too, has in the past expressed his disapproval of groups like Reclaim Australia using his songs, classic Aussie anthems like Kaysan or Working Class Man. The joke is, Barnesy is an Aussie working class icon himself, largely because of that solo hit, Working Class Man, as much as anything he did with Cold Chisel. Perhaps along the way, Jimmy has forgotten who actually wrote his amazing #1 hit song. It wasn't him. It wasn't indeed any working class individual here in Australia. It was an American singer-songwriter, Jonathan Cain, keyboardist with the 1980s chart-topping rock group Journey. It was Cain who wrote the hit song Working Class Man that gave Barnesy his solo career. But wait for it, today that same Jonathan Cain is a great mate of Donald Trump's, who has performed. Cain has performed at Mar-a-Lago for Donald Trump, and Cain's wife, Paula White, actually works for Donald Trump. And in case Barnesy wasn't paying close attention, Donald Trump won the last election because of his promise to close the borders and to slash immigration, much to the approval of all those American working class men and women. Yes, Barnesy's greatest Aussie hit, written by a mate of Donald Trump's. You couldn't make it up.